Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Otis Dozovic.
And this is the news.
Yes, it is. So, Andrade Cien Almas. He's no longer Andrade Cien Almas.
What?
WWE have clipped the man's name. So for some reason on last night's SmackDown, he was presented solely as Andrade. The Cien is gone, the Almas is gone. The two parts of his name that were on his Titantron are no more.
Yeah.
Now, he has joined the Rusev, the Cesaro, the Neville gang, because apparently Vince McMahon thinks that you, Adam Wilborn, are too stupid to comprehend multiple syllables across three names.
I cannot say I'm surprised at this, but look, if it means they're going to push him more and he gets to have more matches like he did last night on SmackDown, I'm totally fine with this. That match against Ray last night was spectacular.
Yeah, it was. It was the kind of match that would steal the show on a main roster pay-per-view, let alone a random episode of SmackDown. So I was quite amazed that they just gave them 20 minutes and said, hey guys, go and have a cracking match. Because they could have just given them 5 with a crap finish.
That is what you'd expect from old WWE. Perhaps this is a sign of change. Look, people moan that, well, they've had this match before. We had the tag match last week. I disagreed before we went into it. It was obviously a phenomenal match. The Hammerlock DDT finish from the top rope was fantastic. It looks like Andrade's getting a push finally. These two just worked. I could watch them fight forever.
Yeah, they seem to have a really good in-ring understanding. And, there is going to be a baseline level of quality with these guys. Andrade is one of the best in the world, and Ray is obviously a veteran, loads of experience, one of the most successful Lucha Libre practitioners of all time. They were never going to stink the joint up, but there's always the worry that WWE could get in the wrestler's way. But yeah, news, apparently he's just called Andrade now, and that's just a bit weird. Indeed.
I can watch lots more Mexican-Canadian destroyers as well. Love that. Right, moving on to another wrestling promotion, Lucha Underground. Ivelisse has lashed out at them on Twitter. You may have seen recently Lucha Underground be going through quite a few problems. There's meant to be a Season 5 incoming. No word on that at the moment, though. And yeah, Ivelisse has hit out regarding her contract status, saying basically she's being, quote, legally held hostage. She posted a long statement yesterday on Twitter saying stuff like, I've done everything in my power to avoid having to do this, but at this point I literally have no other choice. For a bit over 1.5 years now, I've been battling Lucha Underground to grant me my release. She goes on, I'm at my wit's end, so at this point, regardless of what happens from here on out, at the very least, my story is told. It's not looking good. I saw Jerry Ryan tweeting about Lucha Underground earlier today as well.
Yeah, these Lucha Underground contracts are kind of legendarily restrictive. I believe they stipulate that a wrestler will be contracted for a certain number of seasons and that they cannot leave until not only have those seasons expired and they finish the tapings, but they've made the air. So that has led to several wrestlers getting stuck in kind of no man's land. It was the same with Ricochet. I believe he was held up from signing with WWE for about a year. Obviously he was Prince Puma in Lucha Underground before. But man, that company is in a weird little mess. They're off Netflix now, and nobody, their viewer figures for the El Rey network on which they broadcast are terrible, they're atrocious. Lord knows if they'll even exist for a 5th season.
I was a huge fan of them early on. I really liked it, and then
it was, in the beginning, it was something new, fresh, exciting, and I'm sure a lot of people still think that same way, but by the time they literally killed someone off by feeding them to a monster in a cage, I think this was pretty much not for me, brother. But, I mean, it's good that they offer an alternative. I hope they survive. But man, it kind of sucks for these wrestlers. She's right, they are kind of, even though she agreed to these terms, so more fool the people who did that, but they are kind of legally being held hostage. And speaking of hostages, Goldust. I don't think he's ever been a hostage, but never mind. He may very well be on his way to AEW. Now, this shouldn't come as a huge surprise. Obviously, he's Cody's brother. Obviously, he was...
What?
Yeah, I know, it's mad that. He was full of praise for All In and All Elite. He has spoken about it extensively in the media, and he actually wanted to do an appearance at All In last year, but WWE, of course, said no, as is their right. I'm not going to criticise them for that. But according to the No Holds Barred podcast, there is now talk that Goldust may be granted his release from WWE because, let's be honest, he's not exactly a needle mover. They'd probably be quite happy to say, sure mate, no worries, and join AEW. Pretty interesting. He's very old, obviously, but he has always been one of the most underrated wrestlers in the world, I think. Dustin Runnels, Rhodes, whatever you want to call him, he, even in his later years, has proven himself an excellent wrestler, and he can surely offer something behind the scenes as
That's
well.
what I was thinking. I think, obviously, it makes sense. I think he's probably the most obvious person out of everyone to make the leap from WWE to AEW for the reasons that you mentioned there. But with the likes of Billy Gunn being brought on in a production role, you could easily see him doing a variety of different roles for them. And yeah, I'd quite like to see that. I think it'd be lovely to have them, the two brothers, working together on this promotion. And I'm sure, you know, worst comes to worst, they could bring out the Black Rain character or something
for the
like
banter.
Yeah, exactly.
Dustin doesn't like that when you talk about it. I know him personally, so I can call it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Goldust, great lad. Hope he does well. Whatever.
Absolutely.
Double knee surgery last year, bro.
Did he?
Yeah, and he's like,
crikey.
Yeah, sucks.
Let's move on then, finally, to World of Sport Wrestling.
Whoa, hold on. World of Sport Wrestling, we are not wearing our creator t-shirts.
Next time. Basically, they have tweeted announcing that the show is going to be airing across the entire globe.
Wow!
Yes, they've struck deals with the Discovery-owned D Sport to air in India, as well as Star Times for transmission across Africa, they say. And Fight Club is going to be broadcasting across Poland, and French video website Dailymotion is going to bring the product around the world. They also said they are working on a US partnership. Very interesting, this, because obviously in the UK the viewing figures dwindled, I think it's fair to say, not helped by the fact that they just constantly kept moving around time slots.
Yeah.
No confirmation as of yet on season 2, but there's a lot of talk about live dates. Stuff like this should surely give hope for a potential second season of World of Sport, and perhaps now they've worked out those kinks, they would know what they're doing going forward.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of similar to Lucha Underground in a way, because nobody really knows what's going on with World of Sport. Like, they are about to embark on their first ever UK tour, and they had to abandon a lot of dates. Like the Aberdeen one was cancelled, unfortunately. A number of other ones were. I believe one was downgraded in venue due to poor ticket sales. And there doesn't seem to be definite talk of a second season coming through, but if they're securing these deals, it suggests that something is in the works. What's also interesting about this is that talent who we thought were under World of Sport contract, Kaylee Ray and Viper, to name just two of them, they're moving on to other places. So what's going on, Adam Wilborn? It's a big soupy mess. It will obviously be great to see it back. While the program wasn't exactly catered to guys like us, it was more of a family-focused, orientated product with lots of mental WWE camera cuts. It'll be cool to see it have its place. It's another place for people to work, and if they can bring more money in, maybe that'll make a second season viable. Yeah,
and let's hope they just take on board what people had said online regarding the first season. I think there is a good product in there somewhere, and my best friend Stu Bennett is obviously involved.
The legend, obviously.
Wish the best for him. You can tweet at us your questions, don't forget, at WhatCultureWWE. Let's move on to those. First question comes from Scott Wilson, who says, which main roster superstar do you think could benefit from going to NXT? His pick is Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton Benjamin would be interesting. He'd be a good gatekeeper for like guys coming up. It's Nia Jax, isn't it?
It is Nia Jax.
Like, there's no shame in that, because she is not of main roster caliber in the ring. She is dangerous. She has only been doing this a couple of years, to her, to her credit, but she needs to sharpen up. She can't keep hurting people, man. It's part of the job. Yeah, I've said this for a long time now. It should work both ways. If you're good enough from NXT to get promoted, you should be bad enough to be sent back down and retaught stuff. And she'd be a great gatekeeper there. Just as I'd like to see someone like Dolph Ziggler down there, just to take him away from the main roster for a while, make me want to miss him. And we know he can put on some stellar matches. He's just sort of done it with literally everyone on the main roster for now. So I'd like to see him in NXT. Harrison Naylor, next question, says, who wins the inaugural women's tag team belts? They're, of course, going to be on the line at Elimination Chamber. Pretty boring answer here, Cotton, but I'm going to have to go for Sasha and Bayley. I mean, they're just the easy choice, aren't they? They're two of the biggest names in the division. Presumably Sasha isn't going to beat Ronda Rousey at the Royal Rumble. She might, you never know. But it just seems like a safe bet. You've got the Iconics, but they've kind of been booked in this jobbery role. I guess you could throw something weird like Dana Brooke and Alicia Fox together, but that's even weirder. There's not a lot of options, really, is there?
Billy Bloody Kay, Peyton Bloody Royce, the Bloody Iconics.
The Australian Ascension.
Look, I do think it's going to be Sasha and Bayley, but as an alternative, I love those two as a duo. I think they're brilliantly annoying. They get the right reaction from the crowd.
I think they're great. They're just kind of...
And I'd like to see an actual tag team rather than two fantastic single stars who they've kind of got nothing for hold the belts. But I can easily see why, as an inaugural champs, you want big names like that. And like we say, with nothing for them to do, certainly post-Rumble, put the belts on them, have them defend it at WrestleMania, job done. Final question today comes from Callum Tida, who says, who do you want WWE Champion Daniel Bryan's opponent to be at WrestleMania?
Gangrel? No, it won't be Gangrel, obviously. I know what you're going to say. I think that person will be having a match with Shane McMahon, so no, it will not be The Miz. You have lost the pasty bet. For Daniel Bryan, as we're probably going to get a big coronation for Seth Rollins against Brock Lesnar, which may or may not be a great match depending on how Brock feels, I would like to see Daniel Bryan just face someone who is really great at wrestling. So although he's a heel, and although there's absolutely no chance of this match happening, Andrade.
Oh yeah, he's really put his hat into the ring with that performance, but it's difficult to see how they book that match.
Rey Mysterio, sod it, that'd be fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm going to stick with The Miz because even though it's not going to happen, I have Greg's pasties riding on it. Look, the story was there. It was going to be difficult to have The Miz turn face, and I don't know what on earth they're doing with this Shane McMahon, The Miz, best tag team in the world, birthday bash stuff. With him, I think you could easily have had some sort of potential lead from The Miz winning the Rumble to facing Daniel Bryan with the roles reversed, even though we'd sort of booked it 6 months ago the other way round. Nevertheless, I'm going to stick with it. The Miz wins the Royal Rumble, faces Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania, and Shane McMahon just stays back behind the curtain.
Sorry.
Thanks very much. Right, let's move on to today's and finally. And today, a lot of people have been singing the praises of Cody Rhodes and, of course, AEW. But there is one organisation who, perhaps inadvertently, have done the polar opposite of that today. No. That would be the website Forbes, who've published a recent article surrounding AEW and Cody. And yeah, real backhanded compliment this. They say, talking about AEW, talking about it's difficult for people to compete with WWE, they say this will not be the case with AEW on a roster that already boasts some of the best wrestlers in the world and Cody.
Wow.
I see what they've tried to say there. Look, we're going to have some great wrestlers, and obviously Cody's going to be there as well. But what they've said there is some great wrestlers, and, you know, Cody's going to be there as well.
Yeah, great. Wow. Are they trying to nuke any chances of, you know, collaborating with this company as a popular media outlet who do cover wrestling? Yeah. That is very daft. Cody is a world-class worker. He gets over, he understands his character. He's a tremendous in-ring performer. It doesn't matter that he can't do 700 backflips like Jimmy Ping on the Indies or whatever. He's a world-class worker. He's a genius businessman when it comes to this business. Why would you discredit him like that? It's just really weird. Anyway, sorry, Forbes, we're not shooting.
No,
we're working.
No, indeed. But don't expect any invites to Double or Nothing. That's all I'll say.
Silly sausages.
Let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comments section below. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And of course, if you want to send us more Twitter questions, you can tweet at us at WhatCultureWWE. Whilst you're there, follow the two of us. Follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray.
Follow me at Adam Wilborn. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.